So it's a hamstring problem for Declan Rice. Obviously, he missed the game against Liverpool. He didn't start at Anfield, he didn't come on. He wasn't on the bench. He wasn't available. Timber, though, was in the squad, I think, which was an interesting one because at one point there was a real need to bring defenders on, and the likes of Kieran Tierney and Calafiori were doing jobs at right back, right wing back. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. Anyway, I've sort of gone off a tangent there. Declan Rice has a hamstring problem. Comes in from Sami Mokbel, obviously, at the BBC now. So Declan Rice is recovering from a hamstring problem, and while there is hope the injury is not serious, club medics will not take any unnecessary risks with the England international. And I think that's the right approach, purely on the risk front, and we'll talk about what this means in a sec, but purely on the risk front, if I just have a little look at the table, Arsenal sits second on 68 points. I mean, Newcastle and Man City can leapfrog us. We literally play Newcastle next week. If they beat us, they go above us. A win and a draw seals second place. That includes, for me, this Newcastle or Southampton, whichever way the win and draw comes. Second place will be secure. And then you've got Chelsea, obviously just lost at Newcastle. Villa are sitting in sixth and chasing. But will those two pick up all 6 points from the remaining two games? I mean, I think Champions League football is done and dusted for us. The thing is, I'd like us to finish second, and I'm a bit annoyed we were even caught up in this conversation. I think we should be sitting somewhere in the mid 70 points. So we're not in the conversation with Champions League football, but we know that we haven't been near Liverpool's points tallies. But anyway, back on Declan Rice. So the reason I went through all that is to make the point that we don't need to risk Declan Rice. It's not a dire situation that makes a grand difference to anything in particular, whether it is third and fourth. I'd rather Declan Rice gets the necessary rest. But, you know, obviously that line from Sami Mokbel says that there is hope it's not serious. We do have a big game against Newcastle next week because we don't want them to beat us at the Emirates again and leapfrog us for second place. What would be great is if we won that game, we can, we secure that we're above them. It would secure us above Chelsea. And then basically it's just about Man City, and, you get a point at Southampton and second place is all done. So, I mean, I've got to say, it's the first time I've been going to Anfield and Liverpool. I'm always kind of excited for that game. But Newcastle next week, it's the first time for a while there's a Premier League game. I felt there's something riding on it, bearing in mind the actual state of the results we've had against them. They've beaten us 3 times. We haven't scored a single goal. When they beat us in November, that was when I felt that the title was starting to really slip away from us. Obviously, they beat us 4-0 on aggregate in the cup. So I'm quite desperate to actually get the win, go 5 points ahead of them, secure that at least, and then we can kind of move on with our lives. And, what does it really mean? Nothing great, but at least there's established a bit of pride, right? Will Declan Rice be available for it? I don't think so. But what do Arsenal do? Because Mikel Merino got sent off. Really stupid second challenge. I've got to say, I thought he generally had a good game. I know a lot of people weren't convinced. And the red card's all his fault with a poor touch, and then he goes lunging in when on a yellow. I actually thought he had a good game in general. He was winning the ball back one in the first half. Obviously, gets the equaliser. Although he did some good stuff, and he does pop up with a goal. He pops up with big goals, Marino. Credit to him. The thing I'd say, though, is it was such a stupid... Knowing we got this Declan Rice injury, Jorginho was kind of on the squad, I think, against PSG purely to play a coaching role. I think that's what Hand of Arsenal tweeted. So I think we're in this situation where, what do you do? Is Jorginho fit? In which case you go Jorginho left 8 with Partey and Odegaard. You could do that. I mean, you're getting technicians on the pitch. And the one thing about Newcastle is they might beat you physically. So do what Mikel Arteta quite literally spoke about when we beat them this time 2 years ago, which was get on the ball and be technically better than them. But I think there's a chance you bring lewis-skelly into midfield. I think there's a chance you go Partey, Lewis-Skelly, Odegaard is in midfield 3, and you bring Calafiori in to have a little bit more of a marauding up and down option at left back, which would be quite nice. Then you probably move Martinelli up front. But what do you do on the left? I mean, you probably have to go for Raheem Sterling. Then there's Saka on the right. I'd like it instead to be Waneri on the left. And I don't think he's majorly suited to that position. With Calafiori kind of bombing up and down the pitch, can you get Waneri sort of dropping more into the left 8? And I think there's a video on this in the Goonerverse we can talk about. It's a chance for Arteta to try something tactically a bit different, which would be quite nice. But it might mean we're starting with 2 youngsters in central spaces for us, like Lewis-Skelly and Waneri, trying to get us control against one of the most physical teams in the league who can really get on top of you. So if Jorginho is fit, I opt for Jorginho in the left 8. But there are some things you can do with that, which are quite interesting. Ultimately, we still have a problem on the left side of the pitch. Could it be Waneri as the false 9 with Martinelli on the left? Yeah, I don't know. But if Rice is available... The thing is, even if Rice is available, this Trossard thing, what's the latest with Trossard? Do we know? Let me just see. Was it cramp? That's the other big question. Because Trossard went to the left and Marino went up front. I can't see anything online right now about Leandro Trossard. Grabbed his left hamstring. Yeah, I can't see anything. I can't see anything about Trossard. No one's really said anything, which is really strange. So anyway, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see if anything comes out on Leo. Because if he's available, he starts. I mean, hopefully it was just cramp. Hopefully it was just a bit of a tweak and he's okay. He's got a week to recover. Anyway, on Declan Rice and his kind of performances this season, but also the break he needs. This guy's played so much football. And, you know, he came back. People forget, he didn't just come back to start the season. He came back to play 2 pre-season games. He literally had 3 weeks off, and then him and Saka were straight back in. And the thing with those 2 players, and Gabriel and Kai Havertz when he's fit, whatever, Saliba too, there really is an unwillingness from Mikel Arteta to do too much in terms of resting those guys. I remember once we beat Forest 3-0 at home. This was in October, November. And he played, Jorginho came in, Marino came in, Jesus came in, and Havertz, Rice, Partey, I think were all rested. To be fair, they came back in the week after, but by bringing them out of the team, he just freshened it up. He gave us something a bit different. And we played really good football. We were really kind of, there was a zip about our play. There was a technical quality and a technical level there. And I think Arteta could do a little bit more of that, not only to maintain the levels and fitness and protect some of these players like Kai Havertz, because this is another hamstring injury, but also to just freshen up the team a little bit and give us kind of ideas and give oppositions different things to think about. You know, Forest were in a really good space, but they came to the Emirates and we slapped them 3-0 by rotating. Rotating can work. Hopefully it's nothing too serious because, you know, we want Declan Rice, on the pitch and feeling good and sort of ready to go for pre-season. But I understand the need not to take any significant risks. That's pretty much really all I've got to say about it, guys. Well, let me know your 11s for Newcastle in the comment section below. Any updates, of course, we'll let you know on the Goonerverse too. But with Marino out because of, I just thought of Waneri left day. That's something you could do. But again, the Trossard situation makes it so difficult. I think there's every chance lewis-skelly's going to play some football in midfield. Kieran Tierney might start left wing. The thing is, the solutions aren't great. And while I know we've had injuries throughout the season, there have been a few players that have been sort of plugging holes and just plugging gaps and keeping us going, like Trossard, like Partey, like Marino, who have all just actually kind of done the job and just kind of been there, like always available. And the minute you lose something, you realise, man, we're resorting to bringing 4 left-backs on against Liverpool. Which, I mean, okay, actually Zinchenko's another one. Zinchenko might have to play. Oh, anyway, just end the season, man. Injuries, all that, just end it. But I hope we can go out with something of a sensible 11 against Newcastle because I was happy that we pulled it back against Liverpool. You know, I just want to enjoy my football team doing well in matches, whatever it means. Ultimately, there's still kind of that level, that surface level of enjoyment you can get out of football. Anyway, that's the Declan Rice update. Nothing on Trossard, but when there is, we'll let you know here on the Goonerverse too. All right, catch you in a bit.